In the heart of Seoul, Myeongdong Cathedral has long been a symbol of democracy, a safe haven for the people in the fight against hardline governments. Now it's again the rallying point for pro-democracy forces who say their prayers for political freedom have not been answered. Each day, students and workers try taking their rallies to the streets in a march to Myeongdong Cathedral. They're met by a wall of heavily armed riot police, and the confrontations readily turn violent. These clashes continue into the night. Time and time again we watch as protesters inhale a lungful of tear gas, only to come back for more. This push towards Myeongdong is symbolic. 10 years ago, pro-democracy protesters walked this path using the cathedral as a safe house, protected from the forces of the repressive military regime of Chun Do-hwan. It was one place government forces dared not intrude and became a symbol of the people's hard-won democracy. Today, again, the battlefront is on the streets outside Myeongdong, though now the cathedral grounds serve not only as a refuge, but a command centre. These grounds have been both sanctuary and prison for militant union leaders who retreated here to evade arrest warrants issued by the government for waging this industrial campaign. Allowing us into their inner circle, we met the man behind the campaign, Kwon Young-kil, president of the outlawed Korean Confederation of Trade Unions.
형식적 민주주의를 실제적 민주주의로 바꾸고 반노동자 정권을 그야말로 노사가 함께 할 수 있는 그런 사회로 바꿔 나가자는 것입니다.
이한열군이 숨진 다음에 우리가 맹세했던 것은 그의 죽음에 보답하기 위해서라도 그의 주장을 이 사회에 실현하자 이런 생각을 많이 했었죠. 여기 올 때마다 그런 다짐을 계속하곤 합니다.
Woo Sang-ho was a student protest leader in 1987. Not far from this very spot, he saw his 19-year-old friend Lee Han-yul fatally hit when police fired tear gas into crowds of demonstrating students.
10년 전에 우리가 같이 학생들하고 싸울 때는 최소한 지금보다는 더 나은 민주적 결과들을 우리가 획득할 수 있을 거라고 생각을 했습니다. 그러나 우리가 우리 청춘을 희생해가면서 싸웠던 거에 비하면 우리가 지금 얻은 성과는 너무나 작은 것입니다.
He's attended every rally he can in the past 2 months, and again today has left his publishing company office to join protesters in the city centre.
10년 전부터 굉장히 많은 사람들이 희생되면서 민주주의를 외쳤는데 아직까지도 우리가 이 수많은 사람들이 거리로 나와서 직장 일을 놓고 나와서 민주주의를 요구해야 한다는 이러한 현실이 대단히 괴롭고 고통스럽기까지 합니다.
The past decade has seen South Korea hailed as a model of economic achievement. A new level of prosperity has filtered down to most workplaces. In some sectors, wages have increased 5-fold. But the miracle is starting to wear thin. The country's rapid growth is slowing, its trade deficit is increasing, and its competitive edge is being challenged by other developing nations. In a bid to satisfy big business, the government targeted the country's high-cost labour system but went far further than trade unions and opposition parties expected. To workers, the new law undermined their job security, making it easier for employers to sack them or extend their working hours. In a country with minimal unemployment benefits, it cut to the heart of basic labour rights. For the rest of the country, the government action harked back to dark days of South Korea's authoritarian past.
There was a public outcry. In the past, during the authoritarian regime, government and the ruling party used to pass the law like that. But they never anticipated that kind of passive law in the age of democratic transition.
Another night, another clash in the streets of Seoul. This is a country where protests are a way of life and street rallies are a ritual. Yet this is different. The intensity of the protests has caught the government by surprise. More than labour laws are at stake. Ordinary South Koreans have come out onto the streets to fight too. In the face of widespread domestic and international criticism, the government of President Kim Young-sam refuses to acknowledge its heavy-handedness.
이 노동법을 국회에서 처리하는 과정은 가장 민주주의 사회의 이상적인 형은 아니었다. 그렇게 생각을 하지만 이것이 예를 들면 미스테이크였든가 실수랬든가 뭐 오류랬든가 정당하지 않았다고는 생각하지 않습니다.
The strikes, meanwhile, were coordinated to cause minimum disruption to the general public and maximum pain to the government. This is Ulsan on the southeast coast of South Korea. South Koreans call Ulsan Hyundai City. The vehicle manufacturer is the biggest employer in town, with 28,000 workers under this one factory roof. In South Korea, trade unions are formed at a company level. One workplace, one union. With such a sizable workforce, the Hyundai factory trade union wields some power. When management balked at our filming in the factory, the union simply insisted. Kang Bong-jin is the union representative for his production line. He works 10 hours a day, alternating between 5 and 6 days work each week to make his pay packet worth taking home. In the last 10 years, life has improved steadily for Kang Bong-jin and his wife Jung-yeol. His wages have increased enough to afford some luxuries to plump out the small apartment in which they live with their 8-month-old daughter.
물질적으로 조금 이전보다 달라진 거는 분명히 있습니다. 그리고 이전에 차가 100명 중에 한둘 있었다 그러면 지금은 100명 중에 한 60명 정도요. 절반 이상이 차를 갖고 있어요. 노동자들 중에서요. 하지만 그 속까지 사람들의 생각이나 또 제도적인 문제가 좋아진 것은 아니라고 하는 거죠.
여보 매운탕 냄새 좋죠?
예, 좋습니다.
10 years ago, on the eve of democracy, the Kangs expected great social change.
나는 못 마시잖아.
그런 기대나 희망들에서 좀 확신을 갖고 있었어요. 근데 요 근래 들어서 정부에서 각종의 개혁을 했었지만 그것이 국민을 위한 것이 아니라고 지금 많이들 분노하고 있습니다. 사실은
내일 집회 준비 때문에.
아니 집회 준비가 아니고.
Jung-yeol is a teacher. Teachers and public servants are not allowed to form unions, and she has no right to equal pay with her male colleagues. If the government persists with its new labour law, there is little for them to fall back on if either loses their job. Today is a designated strike day, and the workers of Ulsan come out to rally in their tens of thousands. The threat posed by the new labour law to their job security has crystallised demands for greater labour rights. Strikes like today's, for example, are illegal, and trade union leaders face arrest for organising them. These rallies have a festive air to them, including slogan-shouting contests, one today by Kang Bong-jin. But they also provide their only forum for a political voice.
분명히 이깁니다. 그리고 여기에 있는 조합원들을 정말 사랑하고 정말 위대합니다. 우리는 분명히 이깁니다.
The temptation for the government is to turn back the clock, to return to a more authoritarian rule that makes it so much easier to control the economy and the people.
그리고 이번에 노동법도 바로 지난번보다도 더 악화가 된 것이거든요. 재벌의 의견만 수렴하고 완전히 재벌의 입장에서 노동법이라는 겁니다. 그렇기 때문에 김영삼 정부는 형식적 문민정부고 허구적 개혁 정권이고 그리고 반노동자적 정권이기 때문에
For nearly a month now, the unions have successfully waged their campaign against the government from the confines of Myeongdong Cathedral grounds. Attracting the attention of the world's media, they've not denied South Korea's economic problems, but argue the burden of change is not being evenly shared.
물론 김영삼 대통령을 비롯해 정치권에서는 이런 그 외행적인 형식적인 협상 국면으로 이렇게 끌고 가려고 하겠지만은 민주노총은 단호히 이렇게 거부하고 실제적인 법 개정이 이루어져야 된다고 저희들은 보고 있고 그러지 않은 한 저희들은 이 투쟁은 멈추지 않을 겁니다.
The unions have so far pushed government to consider rewriting the laws, but that may not be enough.
It is not the end of the game. I would say it is the beginning of the game. Look, I really don't think the ruling party will come up with 100% concession to the labor demands. And labor will protest.